Let's listen into what he had to say.
Well, I want to be straight with people. It's actually a difficult decision to make, but in the end, we've seen two things really which have caused concern. One is the positivity rate has nearly doubled since the last review in Portugal. And the other is that there's a sort of Nepal mutation of the so-called Indian variant, which has been detected. And we just don't know the potential for that to be a vaccine defeating mutation, and simply don't want to take the risk as we come up to the 21st of June and the review of the fourth stage of the unlock.
The travel industry is obviously in turmoil today with this news. Are you going to provide more support for them, extend the furlough scheme, the grant scheme?
Yes, the support for the travel industry, who goodness knows have suffered throughout this crisis, is ongoing. We've got £7 billion worth of support, which is still being paid out right now, including through the furlough scheme. Look, what I want to do with today's difficult, but I hope decisive action is make sure that we protect the future by not restarting problems which may or may not be there at home. We'll be able to get international travel down the line opened more quickly. So it's a sort of safety first approach, which I see that Gatwick and others have said is an understandable approach, given where we are in the fourth stage of the unlock.
Will you extend the furlough scheme for them? Will you make guarantee that there will be support there for the industry, given that they are looking likely to be in for a difficult summer?
Yes, I mean, look, I think the travel industry, the aviation sector suffered enormously. That's why we provided £7 billion of support, and that support's ongoing, including at the moment the furlough scheme as well. So we've just done more for the ground handlers and for the airports themselves by way of sort of a rates rebate effectively, and we'll always look to support them. The best thing we can do is get back to being able to travel internationally, and we are working, for example, with G7 partners, the OECD and other international bodies to get this going again. But the first thing to do is to protect the unlock domestically and not put that at danger, which potentially a vaccine defeating mutation could do. So it's a safety first measure.
When I was at Gatwick Airport earlier today, there were plenty of people who were travelling out to amber list countries. Now that there are essentially no holiday destinations or very few holiday destinations on the green list, do you not think that people are going to just continue to travel to amber list countries? And what are you doing to try and limit people doing that?
Well, the vast majority of people are not saying that they're going to travel at the moment, and of course are keeping it open as to whether they travel this summer, depending on what happens. So that's the majority of people. We've said with the amber and the red list, certainly with red, you shouldn't be travelling there at all. That is really for people, British citizens, effectively to return from those countries. With amber lists, they're not there for holidays. They're there for emergency situations, perhaps a family member you need to go and visit. And if you do go there, you end up having to come back. And a very, very strictly enforced quarantine exists, which includes having to pay for numerous tests. It includes potentially people coming around to your home to check you're there. And I don't think that's necessarily the kind of relaxation people want, and many people can't take that kind of time off. So a bit of patience here. I appreciate this is a difficult decision. I understand that, you know, we are all desperate to see the world return to normal. That can only happen through the domestic unlock first. We all look towards the 21st of June to see what can be done and the data, and we simply don't want to put that at risk through these figures. As we've seen in Portugal, both the doubling of the positivity rate that we've seen, and also this mutation, the so-called Nepal mutation on the so-called Indian variant, which could then cause us problems down the line. So safety first to get our unlock done at home.